Hey y'all, how are y'all this evening? I want to start off by thanking for all the condolences on the loss of my brown-eyed girl today, Sissy. Got the call this morning. Ruby's gonna go in the backyard or stay with me. That's her baby from December, looking almost just like her. I thought it was ironic. Facebook's changed some things, so I'm not able to orientate the text just right, but the highway department put that sign up here about 3 or 4 months ago, and Sissy was right here at the base of it. This old road, I don't know of any dog that's died of old age on this place. Growing up, my mom had a couple of them, and they ended up meeting their demise on that old crazy Woden road. It gets aggravating. Got a lot of folks walking up and down. A couple of people have been killed on this stretch of road, and lots of pets. It's only less than a quarter mile from the loop where they got to stop anyway, but they love blowing about 65 or 70 through this 45-mile-an-hour zone. But had to take the good with the bad. Sissy was with us almost since we started this journey. Some of y'all remember back in 2019 when she came to live here. Ruby's in training. She's doing just like Sissy did. When I'm out walking and talking, she's with me. She's going to stay cooped up in that backyard until I can afford a shot collar to get her trained on where the boundaries are in the front. But Sissy did pretty good about it. That's how we did it at the beginning. But whatever reason, that happened. Old Ben Franklin said those that purchase give up essential liberty to purchase a little security or safety, well, they deserve neither. So, Pyrenees is meant to roam and guard and do their thing. I'd rather have had the liberty that she had for the 7 years of a happy life than 10 or 15 years and die of an old age in a pen, I guess. I've been studying on it a lot today. Obviously, lots of memories. It's a funny thing about losing a pet, all of y'all can relate. Seems like it's a little harder on us sometimes than even a human. I think a lot of it's the unconditional love, and really for me today she's a capsule, an archive of good memories, bad memories, memories that she was constant there through it all. And won't be any new memories made, but I got a little sad. Eyes leaked a little bit throughout the day, but I got to thinking, most of y'all can relate to this as well with a pet. They're always happy to see you, and they want to see you happy. They don't want to see you upset. So I'm going to choose to look the grass as a little greener today. I can promise you this place never would have been the same that we are today without Sissy and her brother Bo when they came to live here. Some of y'all don't know the story of how that developed. I landed here in 2018 and messing with some chickens out of a chicken house, and they weren't meant to be laying hens, but I was sure thought I was doing something with, I think I had about 70 of them ones that are designed to be slaughtered at 8 weeks. Well, I fed them things, they couldn't even walk. Old breasts so big, just flopping all over the place. But boy, I had me some chickens, and I had a feed bill. Who did I have a feed bill? Finally, them silly things started laying a little bit, some double yolk eggs, and a couple of them even went broody, and I started getting some regular chickens that you need to use on a farm. But along that journey, Mom passed in 2019. Things were a little crazy in June when she did leave us, and through the care and all. But I had a problem with some bobcats. We had a game camera in there, and they'd come down here about every 3 days out of that hill, go up a tree in the top of the chicken coop, jump down, grab them a big old bird, and take off. And they were wearing me out. I didn't have a dog to speak up on the place. Well, I had a couple of little mutts, but they didn't know anything about garden livestock. Well, I talked about it in a group on Facebook, and a gentleman up in Garrison, Texas, about 30 miles north of us here, reached out to me privately. Mr. and Miss Gillis, Jimmy and Mary. He called me and he said, son, I've got a couple of them old Pyrenees dogs on my cattle, and they sure enough good guard dogs. I think I'm going to go back to healers. So if you want them, you come get them. I drove up there and we talked about it, and I seen them from a distance. He said, "Now they won't let you come up to them at all. We feed them in the greenhouse, and they come eat on their own, but they don't have nothing to do with us humans. They just stay out there with the cows." And they've killed a couple of coyotes along the way. It was Sissy and Bo, her brother. They already had names, and he said, "I don't know how we're gonna catch them, since we don't ever handle them, but you'll just kind of be on standby. I'll call you when I get them cooped up, and you can come get them." I said, "All right, that sounds good." So I'm looking up the breed. Didn't know anything about that kind of dog. Many as I've had, different breeds. But figured that's the one I needed. It was Monday, July 29th. Son had already said I was in for the evening, me and Jordan here, and I get a call from Mr. Gillis. He said, "Son, I got them dogs cooped up in the greenhouse. If you want to come fetch them?" I said, "Well, I guess I will." So me and Jordan headed up to Garrison and back the old Yukon up to the greenhouse there. And them two dogs were cooped up in there, and they was no way happy about it. Well, I walked in there, and they're growling at me, didn't know me. And I just went over there and scooped them up with my arms. They didn't bite me or nothing, just kind of unnerving. Put them in the back of that Yukon. Come back to Nacogdoches and backed up to that old hole right there and put them in that chicken coop. I was scared to death it's going to run off on me. Well, they stayed in there about 2 or 3 weeks. We'd feed them. They wasn't aggressive at all. They just wasn't used to humans. And remember the first day I let them out, boy, I was just... I was scared. They ran out over there, and then they'd come back. And finally, they settled in. And over the years, Sissy has been my my right-hand girl. I let her in the house in the wintertime that first year, and she wouldn't dare pee in the house. Didn't do her business in the house. Never trained her. You can't train the Pyrenees. They do what they want to do. They're mind of their own. But she was always well-behaved in the house and would lay there and go outside when she was ready. But lots of memories with those puppy dogs. But today that era ends, and we continue with another one we call Ruby. I'm sure thankful for Tank wandering by last year and allowing Sissy to have a purebred litter of those Pyrenees pups. They're scattered over the county in Angelina County. My dad's got Samson, the biggest male out of the litter. One of our subscribers has... oh my goodness. I think she named him Bo. Yeah, she did. She named him Bo. She's got the other male. And my good friend Stephen Jeffries out in Cushing area, or Douglas out that way. I get it mixed up, sorry. He got the other female and named it Jolene. There you go. So all 4 of those pups are alive and well, doing real good. And we're happy about it, right? Well, I'm going to go up here. I've decided that Sissy would get the royal treatment on the old place here. I think she's earned her place in the foundation of this old place as long as it's been here. This year, I was kind of in error. I researched again this year, and I thought the house was built in 18, but it was 1925. So this is actually the 100-year anniversary of the old home place here. But this whole oak tree at the top of the pasture, I thought was pretty fitting for a resting place for that old puppy dog. So that's a crude situation right now, but it marks where it's going to be. I'll deal with it later, I guess. I hope y'all had a good week so far. My dad's got a birthday tomorrow, and that's a big deal. Blessed to have him in another year. So all is well there. I'm sure we'll be talking and seeing him over the weekend. I was thinking about the dogs and things, and I remember a story I read told by a veterinarian. He'd been practicing veterinary medicine for quite some time. He was an older man, and the call to come assess a poor pup was not foreign to him. He got one from some long-standing customers on a little older dog and stopped by the house. It was the couple and their young son, Timmy. Came in and assessed the dog. It had cancer, and apparently it didn't have long to live. So he was counseling the couple that probably the best thing to do was to put it out of its misery with euthanasia. Well, as sad as the situation was, they decided on the date that next week. It's to bring the pup to the vet and do things the peaceful way. They arrived at the vet office. They thought they'd bring their young son with them. As much as he loved that dog, they figured he needed to learn a little bit about the process of life and death. The old veterinarian walked into the room to administer the medicine that would end the dog's life, and he choked up like he'd done so many times before, sitting the family there with their beloved animal. After he administered the medicine, and a few moments passed by, and the little boy kissed the dog goodbye. Didn't seem to be too shaken or upset. They were sitting in the waiting room there as the other employees was taking care of the beloved pet, discussing how strange it was, our love for our pets, and how unfair it was that they had such a short lifespan in comparison to ours. The adults talked about it for several minutes before Timmy finally popped up, and he said, "Well, I know why." Well, it kind of shocked them. They didn't know really what he thought about the whole tragic situation. And they said, "You do some? Well, why is that, you think?" He said, "Well, I think we're all put here to learn to love and to be kind and to be good friends to one another. And dogs are born already knowing how to do that, so they don't have to stay as long." I thought that was pretty accurate. What a way to sum it up. So true with a good dog, isn't it? Old Sissy. She loved her scratching some dirt. Well, she's got plenty of fresh dirt to scratch tonight. I find my eyes leak less when I don't talk about it, so I'm going to have to get off of that subject. But it truly means a lot. I know all of you that are reaching out through the comments and texts and a couple of phone calls. You've been there. You know the pain. But we take joy in the memories, right? And we've got a little legacy going on here, so I guess that'll be all right. I think I'm going to put this one in a cage and put it in my bedroom. I can't afford to lose another one, right? Old Bart, he's still doing well. Poor old blind and deaf thing. We got a little kitten that showed up, I don't know where from, and him and that kitten are best buddies. He'll let that kitten just mess with his tail, and he'll sit on the porch. He'll get down there by the road barking at shadows, and I got to go down there and I got to squirt him with water, y'all. Can't call him, but as soon as I squirt him in water, he hightails it to the porch and gets back in his spot. I don't think I'm going to get my fall garden in, and that hurts me a lot. Hopefully I'll get some time to put some onions in, but I had some thoughts on some other crops that just ain't going to happen. Them old Tabasco plants are still hanging in. We just picked another load of them today. Them goats where they hadn't messed with them. I don't know if they can taste heat or not, but I picked all the red and orange and green ones off earlier. We'll make some more pepper sauce out of it. But I did get some new arrivals here. Got a pool customer that kind of an animal rescuer, and she's overrun with cats. Imagine that. Well, I told her I'd take 2 or 3 of them for the farm. She had them neutered. They're both tomcats. And poor things, I've got them out here. They're not totally feral, but they're not socialized either. Where they live at, dogs have been tearing them up. I think this is the first time Ruby has seen them. But she don't really bother cats, but I know the cats are scared of her. But I've got them in this little old cage. Brought them in last night or yesterday. They've got a little dirt litter box and some things. Just need to get them acclimated for a couple of days, and they'll be free to run. Probably tomorrow I'll let them out, and they'll know this is home and where the food's at. But they'll be my snake patrol. I guess that brings us up to about 5 cats. Ruby, they're going to knock the fire out of your nose if you don't be careful. Oh, well. My heart jumped a while ago. Got to be honest, I rounded the truck, and Ruby did too, and for just 1 second, I'm like, that's not Sissy. But it was a good thing, right? Don't know what's on the other side. A lot of people ask those questions. I'd like to hope there's a place for them where we can have that discussion later at another time, for sure. I remember story about a dog being used as an example to explain what's on the other side, if nothing else. Man went to the doctor, been sick, found out he had a terminal illness and he was dying. He wasn't a Christian man, but he knew the doctor was, and he was concerned about what lay ahead. Didn't know really what to make of all of it. He asked the doctor, he said, "Doc, I'm scared to death of dying." He said, "What do you think's on the other side?" The doctor thought a minute, looked at the man square in the eye, and he said, "I don't know." He said, well, wait a minute. You don't know? I thought you was a Christian and believed in the Lord and heaven and afterlife and all that. He said, "Well, I do, but I can't tell you what's there with the authority I can if you're dying of cancer." He said, "Goodness." The doctor was standing up to leave the exam room, had his hand on the door there, and he heard a scratching and a whining outside of the door. He popped it open, and in comes the doctor's dog. His wife had brought him by to see the doc. He leaped into the doctor's arms, just licked him, as dogs do. Beautiful sight. The doctor paused and looked at the terminally ill man. He said, "Well, I think I've got the answer for you on what's on the other side." He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You see my dog here? How happy he was to see me?" He said, "Well, yeah. So what's that got to do with anything?" He said, "Well, he's never been in this exam room. He didn't know what was on the other side of that door, but he knew his master was there, and that made it all right." Isn't that good? So I think that's what it is for us Christians. We don't know what to expect on the other side. We have to walk a life of pain and heartache and struggles and joys, triumphs and losses. But we know that this is just temporary. And one day, we'll get to bust through that door to a land of peace because our master is there. Always thought that was good. I'll attempt to do a little roll call real quick. We've got some special guests coming over. Some of the grands are raising rabbits for 4-H. I remember that journey. I got a story or two on that, but they need some caging material. They went from raising 2, and I think they're up to 5 rabbits, and they're already breeding. So we've got to figure out some cage solutions out here, which I've got in spades. So they're on the way after a quick dove hunt, and that'll be fun. If y'all remember the Hallelujah Chicken video, that's in little Annabelle and Lily. So they're right. They'll be out there chasing them goats till dark. That's all right. Huh, Ruby? Goodness gracious, you wasn't supposed to be the matriarch so quick, baby. She was sure smelling up there where Sissy was laying before I had to put her in the ground. Yep, it's all right. I lost my mama too, but we just happy anyway, ain't we? That's right. That's right. We'll just have to stick together, won't we? All right. Let me see if I can do a roll call and see how that'll roll. Lately, it hadn't been doing too hot on this Facebook. I don't know what they've changed, but let me find my spectacles. But again, thank y'all for all the kind words. I know that y'all feel the pain. I know anytime I'll see a dozen posts a day, but man, when I see somebody's lost a pet, I may not have talked to them in 20 years, but it just hits you in the gut because we've all been there and we know the pain, and it's tough. All right, we'll scroll back through. Y'all sound off where you're at, and we'll call it an evening. Let's see. I may have to get off here and go back through it. I done rambled a while, and I'm sorry. I'm a-scrolling, y'all. Thank you, Sue, for sending those stars. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. See, Marty Westerland needed this today. It's been a rough day mentally, which is always hard to get through. Yes, sir, that's right. You're so right. You know, that's something else about grief that I was studying on today. So I got the call, went down, picked her up. Horrible. But it didn't really overwhelm me until I sat down and really started studying on it, putting a little video together, calling Francisco. And I was talking about it when it overwhelmed me, and it was all the memories. That's another thing. God gives us time to heal, and I almost don't want to heal. You know what I mean? Because as time progresses, the rawness fades away. You still have those little twinge moments, but I'll never miss her as much as I do right now today. And the freshness of it. That goes for relatives and all. Sometimes it just washes over you so heavy, and that's still tangible, and it's still real, and it's almost like they're still there. Thank goodness for forgetfulness to a degree, though, and for time to heal. But we just have to hang in there, right? But I don't know if that meant anything to y'all, but that sure did to me. Sometimes you almost don't want to get past the hurt, but we got to keep going. There's my good friend Donna down Huntsville Way. Wild man. Love you, woman. Hope you're well. Let's see. I'm scrolling. Thank you, Joyce, out in Louisiana. Yeah, it's a big loss, but life must go on, right? I will wrap it up. I did see something that I couldn't memorize, and I'm sorry. It's too beautiful, and it's got to be done just like it says it, or it don't work. I'm going to get off here, and after I do that, and then I'll read all the comments and respond to you in the comment string if that's okay. I'll be out here forever trying to scroll. But let me, if y'all don't mind, can I read that to you? I think it'll bless you as it did me, just in general, when it comes to pets. I saved it. But let me see here. Now I hope I can find it quick. The author is unknown, so don't know who to give it credit to. Can I see it? I think I can. Lord have mercy, look at that. I think I can read it. So remember, if a dog was the teacher, let me start that over. If a dog was the teacher, you would learn things like, when loved ones come home, always run to greet them. Never pass up the opportunity to go for a joyride. Allow the experience of fresh air and the wind in your face to be pure joy. Take naps. Stretch before rising. Run, ramp, and play daily. I guess it's romp. Run, romp, and play daily. There we go. Thrive on attention and let people touch you. Avoid biting when a simple growl will do. I think we could all take a lesson from that and maybe even back off some of the growls, right? On warm days, stop to lie on your back in the grass. On hot days, drink lots of water and lie under a shady tree. When you're happy, dance around and wag your entire body. Delight in the simple joy of a long walk. Be loyal. Never pretend to be something you're not. If what you want lies buried, dig until you find it. Boy, that's profound, isn't it? When someone is having a bad day, be silent, sit close by, and nuzzle them gently. Pulls off the words of Job 12:10 in the King James, in whose hand is the soul of every living thing and the breath of all mankind. Thank God for pets and good dogs and good friends. I think that's the way we'll wrap it up this evening. I'm going to get ready for the visitors and hope y'all have a good evening and a good weekend. I got a good friend getting married Saturday evening. Excited for that and wanted to come take part in the ceremony. So Tammy and I will make the long run west to Waco to be with my good buddy. But other than that, life is smooth. We rejoice in the Ruby and those chickens. We rejoice in the bad times and the good times because we must. All right, we'll leave it at that. Y'all be the light. She's going to do good, I believe.